Welcome into MIAA Saturday. I'm Harry Loomis.
And I'm Calvin Silvers.
The MIAA football season came to an end on Saturday, and while 3 teams entered with a shot at the crown, only 1 team could prevail.
Taking you to Jefferson City as Lincoln played host to Missouri Western. Straight to the second quarter, the pocket collapses around Reagan Jones, but he breaks free and finds Travion James at the 10, who powers his way into the end zone to make it 20-2. Fourth quarter now, Zamar Brake rolls right and finds Torrey Hicks wide open on the left sideline. The 24-yard score made it 41-12, and that's how it would end as the Griffins close out the season with 3 straight wins.
We saw a nail-biter in Warrensburg as Central Oklahoma rolled into town looking to take down Central Missouri. We moved to the fourth quarter, where the Mules hold a 23-21 advantage. Stephon Brown takes the direct snap and does his best Superman impression as he flies over the goal line, putting the Broncos up 29-23. But the Mules have seen Logan Tweehouse produce magic all season. The quarterback steps back and finds Jared Bubeck down the middle of the field to snatch a 30-29 victory.
Washburn hosting the Lions of Missouri Southern. Third quarter, first and goal for the Ichabods, and that is Colton Dunkel muscling his way in. The senior makes it 38-7. Fourth quarter, Lions would try and rally as Keandre Bledsoe runs it in from 2 yards out. That made it 38-28. Which is how it ended as the Ichabods win their 6th straight.
Fort Hays State trying to defend the fort against Pittsburgh State, but the Gorillas invaded early. Dallas Flowers took the opening kickoff himself, used his blockers to the 30-yard line, and breaks off the last defender as he used all his energy to race 95 yards down the sideline and gives the Gorillas a very early 7-0 lead. The Tigers didn't shy away early. Chance Fuller drops back in the pocket and floats a ball to Adrian Soto off a wheel route, who shifts into another gear as he zooms into the end zone for a 55-yard touchdown. Pittsburgh State pulled away later in the game, winning 34-24.
Northeastern at Nebraska Kearney. Talk about a good start. First play of the game, it's a flea flicker, and TJ Davis finds a wide open Cody Nelson. 65-yard score, and the Lopers are having some fun on senior day. Riverhawks would score later as Ben Ward finds Deshaun Williams from 14 yards out. That made it 56-10 as the Lopers got the win.
Our last game is from Maryville, Missouri, where Northwest Missouri State looked to claim the outright MIAA championship against Emporia State. Quarterback Mike Hohensee was battling an ankle injury earlier in the season, but must be feeling better. Hohensee decides to keep the ball for himself as he tries to make a case for becoming a running back, as he races 60 yards to the house for a commanding 21-0 lead. The Hornets look to avoid a shutout as they enter the red zone. Braden Gleason pumps fakes to his running back, then releases an end zone fade, which lands in the hands of Jalen Varner. This would be the Hornets' only score of the game, and Northwest wins the MIAA championship with a 35-7 victory.
Now that the season is done, let's hand out some hardware.
The 2021 MIAA Offensive Player of the Year goes to TJ Davis, quarterback for Nebraska Kearney. What a year Davis and the Lopers had. The Lopers offense led the MIAA in rushing yards per game, and total points. Davis individually led the conference with 21 passing touchdowns and 16 rushing. The junior's 102 points scored this season placed him 8th in all of Division II, while his 16 rushing touchdowns also placed in the top 10.
This year's 2021 MIAA Defensive Player of the Year is Northwest Missouri State defensive lineman Sam Roberts. The senior led the Bearcats with 12.5 tackles for loss to rank 4th in the MIAA, while his 5 sacks tied for 5th. Roberts finished the regular season competition with 44 total tackles for a loss of 59 yards. He was also credited with 2 quarterback hurries on the year. Northwest held its opponents to an average of 9.1 points per game and 204.7 yards per game to lead the league in passing and rushing defense.
The 2021 Special Teams Player of the Year is James Letcher Jr. of Washburn. Letcher Jr. averaged 27.2 yards on kickoff returns to rank 2nd in the MIAA and was 4th with 9.71 yards on punt returns. He had an especially good return on October 23rd as he returned a kick 90 yards for a touchdown against Central Oklahoma.
The 2021 MIAA Freshman of the Year is Missouri Western's Brandon Hall. Hall finished the season as one of the league's top 10 running backs. In just 93 rushing attempts, Hall totaled 627 yards to rank 8th in the MIAA, while his 7.8 average yards per carry ranked 2nd in the league. Hall also had 15 receptions for 221 yards for a total of 888 all-purpose yards and 6 touchdowns on the season.
The MIAA Coach of the Year. This is Lynn's first time receiving the honor, and it is absolutely deserved. His Lopers went 9-2, leading the MIAA with 5,181 all-purpose yards and 399 points, culminating in their 5th playoff appearance in program history.
As we head into the playoffs, let's look at keys for the game for the playoff teams.
Like last weekend against Emporia State, the Bearcats will face a pass-heavy offense in Central Washington. The Wildcats are led offensively by third-year freshman quarterback Quincy Clasper. In 6 games, Glasper has passed for 1,280 yards and has 17 touchdown passes against just 2 interceptions. He's also rushed for 226 yards and 4 touchdowns. Last Saturday, I said Northwest secondary was the weakness of the defense, but the Bearcats proved me wrong. Although just a redshirt freshman, Khalil Smith has been making impact plays on the season. The senior Drew Dostal has stepped up big as of late with 3 interceptions on the year. He studies film, and he knows when to break on the ball to come up with the turnover. The key is simple. Make the freshman quarterback for the Wildcats feel pressured. Glasper is playing in his first playoff game, while he'll feel anxious. The Bearcats must capitalize on his inexperience and force Glasper into throws he normally wouldn't make. Washburn travels to face Harding, the Ichabod's first playoff game since the 2011 season. Washburn will need to rely on quarterback Mitch Sherg, who is 5th in the nation in passing efficiency, 5th in the nation in completion percentage, 20th in the nation in passing touchdowns, and 36th in the nation in passing yards per game. In the last 5 games, Sherg has 9 touchdowns with 0 interceptions, including going 5-0 in that span. The Ichabods will look to win the time of possession as well, as Harding leads Division II in time of possession. The key is simple. Washburn must keep the ball in Mitch Sherg's hands whenever possible. Winning the time of possession will force Harding to make bigger plays, which could lead to mistakes.
Nebraska Kearney is also playoff bound. They're going to the Rocky Mountains to play Western Colorado. What more can be said about the Lopers? Their offense is elite and compete with anyone they come across. TJ Davis and company are always going to keep you in the game. And while their offense is the center of attention, their defense is nothing to scoff at either. While they may not force that many turnovers, they've done a very good job of getting off the field. They've allowed only 42.3% of third down conversions, which is a big reason their offense averages over 33 minutes a game. Speaking of offense, that's the key. Do not change what got you here. Trust your quarterback and trust your offense. Western Colorado averages under 31 minutes of offense, so give yourself as much time with the ball as you possibly can.
And be sure to follow us across all our social media platforms and catch all the MIAA action on the MIAA network. I'm Calvin Silvers.
And I'm Harry Loomis. We'll see you next week.